about how I keep viewer retention up. Why do all my scripts suck?
This past week, I've been frantically writing scripts trying to figure out what I wanted to make my next video on. Then I remembered that YouTube is my hobby and I can make videos about whatever I want. So today, I'm going to pour my heart out for Glitch and the Amazing Digital Circus. And other shows, but mainly this one. That's right, all 58 of you subscribe to a nerd! 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 Geek! If you don't know, The Amazing Digital Circus is a show written and directed by Gooseworks and animated and produced by Glitch. Before we talk about the show though, let's talk about who Glitch is and why I love them so much. Glitch is an independent animation studio helping people with great ideas bring their shows to life with an emphasis on reaching teen and young adult audiences.
Which is awesome!
So many artists and writers have huge ideas but lack the funding and resources to bring them to life. So Glitch just helps them. And then, after dumping tons of time and money into a project, they release it for free on YouTube. Big corporations don't really care about making good animated shows anymore, much less good shows for the teen and young adult demographic. Don't get me wrong, I love shows like Rick and Morty or The Boondocks, but sometimes watching that stuff just rubs me the wrong way. I tend to feel kinda gross after binging Rick and Morty when every episode is just a series of disturbing events. I want cool shows that aren't gross and vulgar but aren't cringe and kiddish. I'm 19. I fit into this underappreciated demographic. Remember when we had Gravity Falls, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Teen Titans? Shows that were suitable for younger audiences but weren't too cringe or boring for the older audiences? Those shows were peak back in the day, yet nobody is making anything like them anymore except for Glitch. Although those shows lean more towards kids while Glitch leans more towards young adults, but you get the idea. And all Glitch asks for in return is that you watch their content and share it with others. And if you really like what they're cooking, you can buy merch. But now that we've got their backstory out of the way, I want to talk about my story with Glitch. And then we'll talk about Tadka, I promise. I've been watching a lot of animation content on YouTube recently. Actually, I've always watched animation content on YouTube, but I've been watching a lot more recently. And one day, YouTube recommended the Lackadaisy pilot to me, and I thought, my, how cute and quaint, I'll give it a watch.
And cute and quaint it was.
I mean, cats, during the Prohibition, with the cutesy little art style, I fell in love. And after watching the pilot, I scrambled for any more information on the show. Sadly, there is no information on when a full season will be released, but I did find out that Glitch partnered with the Lackadaisy team and pretty much doubled the season that was originally supposed to come out.
W Glitch!
And after getting Lackadaisy recommended to me, I found the Knights of Guinevere pilot, a show with dense world building and an intriguing original story, a dystopian future where a Disney-like corporation takes over the world. I was instantly hooked. And then I went about my life. For some reason, I didn't really look at Glitch much after that. I just kind of moved on. And after 3 weeks, YouTube finally recommended something else from Glitch. Something they had never recommended previously, at least from what I remember. They recommended The Amazing Digital Circus. Now, I had heard of Tadka before, but I always disregarded it as looking like some cringe millennial show. I'll give you the full story. This past Thursday at 11 p.m. I was on YouTube and came across Pomni Wake Up Time to Go on an Adventure. I know it shows up later in my watch history, but I remember watching it first because it was only a couple minutes long and it got me interested in the show. It was just like their announcement that they were making a full season. So after watching that, I figured, this show looks interesting, I'll watch it. So then I watched the pilot. And at this point, it's 11:30. And I was like, I can do one more episode. So I watched episode 2. And after episode 2, I knew my fate was sealed. And I binged all 7 episodes. And you can even see where Thursday ends and my history extends into Friday. I stayed up until 3:30 a.m. watching this show. And I even watched ads and other related videos afterwards because I loved it so much and wanted more. Then, the next morning, I ended up snoozing my 7 a.m. alarm 3 times. eventually sleeping through it and waking up a couple minutes after I was supposed to leave for class. And after flying out of bed and driving as fast as I could, I was 10 minutes late. I'm writing this script as of Saturday, and still, this show is all I can think of. I think part of the reason why I got hooked so hard and fast is because I went in blind and was thoroughly surprised. I'd only seen pictures of the little Jester character, and aside from that, I knew nothing. So for the sake of anyone who might not have heard of the show, I won't talk about any story elements. But I don't know how you haven't heard of it. The pilot literally has 400 million views. I haven't seen many shows that have utilized 3D animation as well as this one has. And another thing about the animation, the expressiveness of these characters is unmatched. There's a scene in episode 3 where two of the main characters are in the dark, and for like a minute and a half, all that is shown is their eyes. You know, in typical cartoon fashion. And just look at the footage. You can see how well they animated the scene to show the emotion and depth of the characters with only their eyes. And they do this throughout the show with facial expressions. I found myself rewinding scenes just to look at the different characters' faces because the animators did such a good job. And the writing is phenomenal. Every episode is engaging and fun, and the jokes are funny, at least in my opinion. Obviously, comedy is subjective, but I thought they were hilarious. During certain scenes, I found myself pausing just to giggle a little bit, and then rewinding to watch them again. You know, I found myself rewinding a lot during the show, but that should tell you how much I enjoyed it. The characters are all so well designed and well written. I love each and every one of them. Especially Kinger. Just look at this guy. Gosh, I need some plushies. But I'm broke!
Glitch, please, I need a plush.
I love this show, and I will be rewatching it when I have time. Lately, I've been watching the cast play games together on YouTube, and that's sort of filling the void this show has left in my heart. It's honestly really depressing because it's only supposed to have 9 episodes with no continuation for a second season. I am very upset about it. There's 7 episodes out already, which means there's only 2 more left. And honestly, I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I'm going to stay tuned, and that's about all I have. I don't know how to end this video. Hello, lovely people. I hope you enjoyed me gushing over the amazing digital circus. In my day-to-day life, I try to act all nonchalant and mysterious. So it's nice being able to come on here anonymously and geek out a little over something that I don't usually get to. Like, none of my family or friends know that I like this show. They probably think you're weird for liking this. And maybe I am. But maybe YouTube will understand. If you made it this far, thanks for watching.